What an absolute pleasure to have you here with us in London. I saw the film in Cannes, was absolutely blown away. I just love kind of how punk, how bloody, you're dealing with sort of like really relevant, pertinent issues, but in this completely like genre mashup, comedy horror way. How do you describe the film to people?
Actually, I say a bit like you just said. Like I said, it's a comedy, punk, horrific, fantastic. Also, it's a mix of a lot of genre. Like it's a movie about freedom and about women who take back the control of their bodies and their stories. And yeah.
And what was it like kind of stepping behind the camera, but also continuing your collaboration with Celine Sciamma, and sort of having more creative control, I guess, after being an actress for a long time?
It's always very nice to be able to have the chance to express ourselves, as in myself, but also ourselves, because it's like I wrote the story not alone, but with Celine, with my friends, like Sonda Kodrani, who work also in the movie. It's our stories, like stories that haven't been told enough, I think, in a genre that hasn't been used enough also for women, because there is violence in it. And the violence, it most of the time is belongs to men in a way.
And in terms of how it like picks from different genres, I was almost thinking of Julia Ducournau's Titane as well, where she kind of like dives into body horror. Then we've got Coralie's The Substance. Seems like there's a bit of a theme here. Female directors in France kind of going boldly where other people haven't gone before. So, maybe and looking at issues that affect women like sexual violence, like misogyny, like patriarchal society, but not doing it through just a straightforward dramatic way. So do you see your film kind of in dialogue with films like that?
Completely. Because I think as I said, the genre movie belongs in violence and blood. A lot belongs to men and men's stories. And even the humor, it's the violence is cathartic in a way. It helps you to let go a lot of things, because we receive so much violence and we keep it inside us. So I think it makes sense that in the movie we do now as women, we put back violence. It's like a necessity, a cathartic necessity, but also the humor in it, the absurdity of it. It's also makes sense because all this is absurd. The humor helps us to leak and share with the others, to maybe create a dialogue more easily, to go more far in what we want to tell, to say, and also it's a weapon, the humor. It helps you to make things with the distance. It just helps in life. The humor, for me, it helps a lot to move on.
And I think you can also get a lot more creative than if you're doing a straight up drama. Did you have some favorite scenes that you shot, or anything go wrong on set while you were doing some of these moments?
Yeah, because it's a movie that isn't made with a lot of money, so not a lot of time. And sometimes we had to do big scenes, with a lot of blood and everything. And one day there was this big central scene in the movie where a body is supposed to explode, and we worked so hard that it works. And actually, it just a little blood that came out from the body, so it was very ridiculous. We fixed it after, but that was a hard time and funny time at the same time. And there is another scene very, very important to me. Is a scene where a lot of women are walking at night in the street. Only women, and they are topless, most of them. And it's like a science fiction scene. It doesn't exist, and maybe it will never exist. It's sad. But at the same time, when we were shooting this scene, we were so free. It was very hot outside, and the sensation to be topless, all of us together. It was, yeah, we cried so much.
And in terms of what people can take away, like you said, maybe, get people to laugh. There is some catharsis there. But, there are some serious themes underneath, about women having agency over their bodies, about sort of the violence that women suffer. So what do you think those themes might be?
I hope they will have emotions, like in the way, like emotions of letting go things, just like a roller coaster, like.
Right.
And I hope they will feel less alone. They will feel hope also. They will feel joy of sorority, as I do.
Very exciting.
And I hope also there will be a dialogue just between people, between men and women, between men together, between women together. Just a lot of dialogue blogs.
Can you tell us what you're going to be working on next? You know, either as a director or in front of the camera again, and also maybe a few words about Emmanuel, which I know is coming out now in other cinemas across Europe.
I can't tell what I will do next. I just can say that I did a Pietro Marcello movie that is going to be out next year. But I can't tell what the other stuff I'm doing. I'm sorry. Emmanuel, it's a completely different story, but at the same time, it's also a movie about a woman who tried to get control back of her movie, of her not movie, of her body, of her story. Emmanuel is so famous in the head of a lot of people as someone who is here to give pleasure to the audience. But here it's about a woman who is trying to get pleasure for herself, and that's so important to me, and that's why I wanted to do this movie.
And do you see now being as a very positive time for female filmmakers, creatives, I guess like the ones we mentioned in France, but beyond, and particularly here in London, or do you still feel like there's some progress to be made?
It's better. I was able to make this movie, and I think a couple of years ago it would have been possible. It's still not so easy, because we can feel that it hurts, like it hurts it. There is a wall sometimes, but I think it's better and better and better.
And finally, what does it mean to you to be here tonight presenting your film here at London Film Festival?
I'm very, very moved and happy and excited and stressed also, because I know it may be the only screening for English people in cinemas. There is no distributor. I know it's really hard to find distributor here. I just want to know how the English people receive this movie, because I love England and I love to come here, and BFI is an amazing festival, so I'm so happy that they choose the movie. It's very an honor for me. A huge act of liberation, and it's free to let go, and I hope the audience will enjoy and let go as much as we did when we wrote it and we shoot it. Because when I started to write this movie, it was a necessity for me to tell our story, to tell my stories, to tell stories about women who got a lot of violence in their life. It talks about rape, it talks about violence, sexual violence, and how this woman with sorority can get back their freedom. We have three women very different. Nicole, the name of the character, is a woman who stay in the balcony and observe the world and observe outside. The outside, the public space, it doesn't belong to women. And she wants to tell a story about love with a strong man that she observed, a neighbor that she very beautiful man, and she wants to start to write a story about him, and it turns to be another story about pressure and patriarchy. It means a lot, because it's, as I said just before, it's a very important festival, very famous, with amazing movies, with incredible cinemas like mythic cinemas. We don't have distributors here in England. I know it's hard for stranger movies to get distributors here, so maybe it's the only time people can see it on the cinema. So it's so important for me. I'm so happy that the BFI chose us to show the movie in this section. It started when it was right after the Me Too movement and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and I just started to realize that the vision I had of myself, of the society, I just realized the impact of this patriarchal society in our lives. And I went to my best friend, Senda Quadrani's house to live just with girls for the first time in my life. I escaped from my couple and everything. I was suffocating in a way. And we started to have a really strong sensation, like there were no gays. It was during the COVID quarantine. So no gaze of a man in a couple or man in the street or the society on us, because no work, just us. and the bodies, just our bodies were letting go. We didn't be careful of anything, just we were breathing and laughing and also talking about really important things that happened to us, traumatizing things that happened to me or to them, and we talked about it a lot and with humor. And I was this sensation that I need in my life. I want to share it, and that's how I started to write this movie. And since I love cinema, I really wanted to make a film that makes people laugh, that makes people let go, enjoy, have fun, even if it's hard thing. But we are so used to, like as women, there is so many women who have these horrible stories, but they continue to move on. And so, yeah, for me, it's this movie is also a freedom in the form, like in the cinematic form. Like I wanted to explore everything, to break the rules, to enjoy the cinematic way, but also the heart of the sense of the movie. Yes, there is one actually quite funny. Is in one of the scenes there is a dead body that was supposed to explode on a pig, and there was supposed to be a lot of blood that explodes everywhere, and we rehearsed a lot because it was very important scene. And when it happened, there were no blood, like just a little thing like that. And I was like panicking as I was supposed to panic in the scene. And it didn't work, but we found other solution. But it was a very scary and funny moment at the same time. I want them to take away new sensations of cinema. I want them to take away a moment where they let go, where they have fun, and at the same time, maybe they realize some things.